All right, everyone always talks in free agency about, every signing is great, every team's going to the Super Bowl. It's the time where you get optimistic, but you know what? I like to go on both sides on this channel, talk the positives and talk the negatives. So these are my 7 losers of free agency so far. First, I'm going to Kansas City Chiefs, who I don't know if they are massive losers, but listen, again, if you've been following this channel, you know I was not a huge fan of the Jawan Taylor move, especially getting rid of Jawan Taylor, or signing Jawan Taylor to $20 million a year when you then get rid of Orlando Brown Jr., someone I consider to be a better player. He got less money in free agency. I would have just kept the guy on my roster that I thought was good. That's how I view it. Now, again, I made a whole film study kind of getting into detail about Jawan Taylor, the positives and the negatives, and why I don't love the contract, so you can check that out. But they're not massive losers. Chiefs are still going to be good, obviously, but so far, they're 1 of 7 so far. And if you want to hear more of my thoughts, check out the video I posted about Jawan Taylor. The film study one is the one I get into more detail about. Next up, the Raiders. The Raiders here they're light losers. I don't think that they're massive losers because there's some moves I'm interested in. Like, listen, the Jimmy Garoppolo signing, these kind of contracts don't always work out, although they're not paying him a ton here, paying him under $30 million. So that's interesting. I really like the Jacoby Myers signing a lot, actually. The reality is I just hated the Darren Waller trade. That's why they're losers here, because again, light losers. It's interesting what they're doing. Will this win a Super Bowl? That's probably unlikely. I still think they have a lot of work to do to improve their defense. I think this probably should have been a full rebuilding year. Doesn't seem like that's what they're trying to do here. And I thought they could have been frisky, but then you get rid of Darren Waller, which was, for basically nothing. I just didn't love that. I think they should have kept him personally. So again, gotta have 7 losers on this list. Not massive losers either, but they're losers for me because of that move, and just because I'm not sure if they're going in the right direction. I'm not sure if this is the correct strategy here to try and continue to stay competitive when maybe you should be looking at a rebuild. The Rams are losers here, and really the Rams are losers for one main trade. I did not love the Jalen Ramsey trade. I think that, you won a Super Bowl a season ago, right? Literally, you're the second most recent team to win a Super Bowl here, and little bit over a calendar year ago. And I think what you won it with was the main thing that you were able to do was you had 3 superstar players not at the quarterback position, with Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, and Jalen Ramsey. On top of that, you got really good play from Matthew Stafford in the playoffs, and that allowed you to win a Super Bowl. I think removing one of those pegs is a really bad idea. I think that unless you get really good value back for it, I just didn't love that decision. Listen, I get it. There's several things at play. You do need money, all of that stuff. I get it. It's not the move I would have made. I would have found ways, would have done some other things, make sure I keep Ramsey in the building. Maybe he says, hey, I'm not playing. You got to trade me to the Dolphins, or I'm, just going to sit out this year. Okay, then your hands are a little bit tied, but I don't know that to be the case, so I got to work with the information I currently have. I think that they're losers because I didn't love that trade. Next up, the Packers, which, I'm going to put them here because you don't have to necessarily put them here, but the reality is this is a team that is about to lose Aaron Rodgers, and when you're losing an elite quarterback, I put you in the loser category. I just do. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe Jordan Love will be a star. It wouldn't be the first time the Packers move off of a Hall of Fame quarterback and get another Hall of Fame quarterback, right? But at the same time, it probably isn't going to happen just because most quarterbacks don't become that kind of caliber, right? So the chances are that they are going to be taking a massive step back from a team that I think could have had a bounce back season this season had they been able to repair the Aaron Rodgers relationship. He had to go. It was time. I get it. But you're still, as of right now, losers until you can fully rebuild. I like signing Keyshawn Nixon. I think he's, good special teamer. Although $6 million, bit much for a special teamer. Have to say that as well. But as a whole, they also lost lost Alan Lazard for, however badly you think that matters. But at the end of the day, they're just, in an interesting spot right now. The Ravens are also going to be on this list, and it's not really any main thing they've done. In fact, it looks like this Lamar Jackson move might end up working out at least this season for them. But at the end of the day, I don't know how long it's going to work out for them. I think that they would have been winners had they found out a way to just keep Lamar Jackson and to get Lamar Jackson a long-term deal. And listen, maybe that just wasn't going to happen. Maybe there was no long-term deal that was reasonable that Lamar would have accepted, but that still makes you losers. Regardless of whose fault it is, it still means that you are now, having a tougher offseason than you could have heading into it. Do I think they end up with Lamar Jackson still? Yes, I do, but I still don't know that. And the fact that it's not a guarantee is still a question, is makes them losers for me, especially when maybe they'll get him for this year, but would it get him for next year? Maybe Lamar, says, I'm not playing on the non-exclusive franchise tag. It'd probably be the smart business move for him. I still think another smart business move would be to get an agent. Just, I'm, fan of guys getting agents in general. Even if Lamar is really good at this stuff, it's still, as a whole, I think getting an agent's probably a good idea, just in general with this stuff. But as a whole, again, it's all the Lamar thing. I don't know. Getting Trayvon Mullen seems interesting. Re-signing Justice Hill, sure, why not? But as a whole, obviously, it all comes down to the quarterback. The Giants are on this list, another team that's on this list largely due to one move, because I actually like a lot of what the Giants have done this offseason. I love the Darren Waller trade. I think that was really smart. I thought that tagging Saquon Barkley was the right move. You're keeping him in the building, keeping his value, but if he does fall off a cliff, then you can just, wash your hands clean and don't have to worry about it. The Bobby Okereke signing is certainly interesting. 4 years, $40 million. I love them picking up Raheem Nunez-Roches. He was a really underrated player for Tampa Bay, played behind Vita Vea in a similar role, and actually, when Vita Vea was out there, did a good job at, not kind of doing a similar thing, not quite as good, but still very good. So he's an interesting piece that they added, I think. I just hate the Daniel Jones deal. I just do. It's just not the move I would have made. 4 years, $160 million. I don't think Daniel Jones is bad. I just don't think that he is good either. I think he's proven at this point in his career he can be a mediocre starting NFL quarterback if he's in a system that is catered to his strengths, which is, to me, not what you pay $40 million for. I think that he's even a step below some of these guys who are getting, like a Ryan Tannehill type, who is kind of not quite good enough to get a ton of money, but not, but still solid. To me, Daniel Jones is a step below even that. So I don't know why you're paying him $40 million a year. I don't see a way where they don't regret that contract in a few years. I could be wrong. Would not be the first time, because I do like what the Giants done outside of that, but that's just not a move I love. It's just not. Finally, the Commanders are on this list. Again, this is a light L here for the Commanders, I would say, so far, and another one where they probably could turn it into, being losers, turn it into winners with one good move. There's a couple teams on this list that I would say that about. I don't love the Daron Payne signing. I like him as a player, but again, it's just sometimes you like someone as a player but don't love the contract. He's getting 4 years, $90 million. That's $22.5 million a year for all you math fans out there, and it's just a lot of money for a guy who, has shown flashes of being worth that much, but I don't think has consistently shown that he is a player worth that much. It's just not a contract I love. They wouldn't be on this list if it was just that, because again, he is a good player, but I don't love the Andrew Wiley signing either. 3 years, $27 million for a guy $24 million for a guy who's pretty much most known for winning a Super Bowl, being the worst player on that Super Bowl winning team, at least the worst starter on that Super Bowl winning team. Did have a good Super Bowl though, so I'll give him credit there, credit where credit's due. I think I like the Cameron Dantzler claiming off waivers. I think that's a good move, but I guess part of me too is like, so are we really going into the season with Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett as our quarterbacks? They signed Brissett to $10 million. They gave him some money. Is that what we're doing here, Washington? I don't know if I love that. They're kind of screwed. What else do you do? But they're just kind of in a middling spot. I don't know what you do in this spot. So I guess I get it. But I don't know. If you liked Sam Howell, why not let him play last year? I guess is my question. But yeah, again, not massive losers here, but a couple moves I didn't love, so they end up on the list. But yeah, those are my 7 losers. What do you disagree with me on? These ones are always controversial, so definitely let me know what you think in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.